What is going up, Kansas, or going on, Kansas Youth Bass? It is opening day for the Royals. It is meeting day for Melvern Lake Kansas Youth Bass and High School Tournament here on Melvern Lake this weekend, Saturday, April 1st and Saturday, April 2nd. Did I say that right? Yeah, April 1st and April 2nd. Sorry, I had to double check my calendar. It was going off of memory there. We are taking off out of Melvern State Park East Ramp. Let me go ahead and pull up some screens. We'll go over some details here. Few things that we do want to talk about. Let me get the screen here. Go ahead and share in, that way we can talk and um, go over some stuff. So this is Melvern Lake. If you guys have never been there before, Melvern Lake is south of Topeka, north of I-35. Sorry about that. Phone's ringing here at K-Guard. We are north of I-35, or going to be north of I-35 off of 75 and south of Topeka, just south of Linden, basically. So make sure you guys are knowing where we're going. We are just a little bit west of, or east of Emporia there off of 35. So it's a little bit of a drive from Kansas City, but this is the east side of the state. So if you look at the state of Kansas, we did an east and a west division, which there's not a ton of lakes out west. So it was more like an east and a central division, but we did our best to try to divide the state in half with where our population of anglers are. Let's pull up Melvern Lake there. Just kind of want to go over a few things here. We are 15-inch minimum lake this weekend, 5 limits of fish, smallmouth, largemouth, and spotted bass. Also a hybrid of those 3 species. So black bass species only, white bass and wipers do not count. For you new anglers out there, this is a largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass tournament only, or Kentuckies as they're known around the Ozarks. So we are only black bass species. So that's a little confusing with some because, you know, smallmouth are actually brown and largemouth are more of a greenish with black lateral lines, stuff like that. So just to remember, black bass species only, that is largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass, or a hybrid of those 3, which means like a meanmouth. A-rigs are allowed in the Kansas high school and youth tournaments within the rules of the state regulations. That being said, the state has changed its regulations on A-rigs. You are now allowed 5 hooks in the state of Kansas. It's a little confusing when you try to find it on Kansas's website, but we do have that on recording with a couple different situations from talking to some of the Kansas Department of Wildlife reps. They don't have a very good, I would say, like disclaimer on what's included, how many arms, elbows, stuff like that, but it is 5 hooks on a single lure, which is what they're considering an A-rig now. So that being said, there's a little bit of a gray area there. If you're throwing a double A-rig, I don't think they allow 5 hooks if you're using a double A-rig. So that's kind of the gray area. So just make sure you're using a single A-rig, 5 hooks if you guys are throwing an A-rig. If you're using a double rig, I believe that it goes back to the whole 2-hook rule, according to the fine print that they've kind of got out there. So that's the gray area. So be careful. Let's for our sake this weekend, do not throw any double rigs. A single rig, 5 hooks will be allowed. We are taking off at Safe Light. Junior highs will be due back in at 1 p.m. High schoolers will be due back in at 3 p.m. We do have more than 15 boats on the high school side, so you guys will be due in on flight times. We actually do the same thing for junior high because we all launch at the same time, so there will be flight times for both stages, so that correction there. So you'll have a flight time. Make sure you guys check your boat draw, which I'll post to the website here in just a few minutes. You'll have your launch number and the time that you're due back next to your names. So Safe flight 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. depending on if you're junior or high school. Safe flight should be about 6:45 depending on fog, stuff like that, cloud cover. It is supposed to be a little windy this weekend, so make sure you guys are keeping an eye on the wind forecast. If your boat's a smaller boat, you need to make sure that you're thinking about that as the wind picks up throughout the afternoon on where you're fishing. You want to make sure that you're navigating down the correct side of the lake. If it gets a little windy and you're in a smaller boat, make sure you guys are in the right size boats. Per our rules on Kansas Youth Bass. I'm trying to think of anything else. Let's kind of go over launch procedures. So when you're coming in off of 75, whether you're coming in from 35 or coming south from Topeka, Linden area, you're going to turn on 278 here. Make sure you guys are paying attention to, there's a ton of deer in this area, especially being close to water, lots of trees and prairie land out here. So there's tons of actual wildlife. So turning off at 278, you're going to come in, you're going to pass the first turn, which says Melvern Lake Dam. You're going to come all the way down to the Eisenhower State Park entrance. If you go too far, this turns to gravel eventually, so you'll know you went too far. You're going to take a left into the Eisenhower State Park. It's going to make you take a right-hand turn and go by the office there. That's where you're going to pay your daily permit fee if you do not get it when you get your tags. Once you come down to this T after paying for that, you're going to take a left, which looks like we're going right because it's backwards here. And then you're going to come down, you're going to take that right and come down Fair Lawn Road all the way to the ramp. Do not turn off after you've turned on that road. There is another sign that says boat ramp to the right. That's to the west ramp, which is a smaller ramp over here. We're not launching out of that ramp. We're launching out of the east ramp. So it's the one closest to the dam. So when in doubt, head towards the dam. All right, so once you pull down, you're going to prep your boat right here, down this stretch right here before you get to the parking lot. Start prepping your boat. As if you're ready and people are prepping your boat in front of you, go ahead and go past them. But if you're not ready and you haven't prepped your boat, do not pull in this parking lot to prep your boat. We say it year after year, tournament after tournament, there's always 5 to 10 people that pull down here and cause a little bit of a traffic jam. Just prep your boat right here, okay? After your boat's prepped, you're going to turn down here because you're ready to launch. After you've launched, we're going to send you up here, and we want you guys to fill this area first. So the first 15 boats should park right here, trucks and trailers. The next 15 boats should park right here, trucks and trailers. And then the next 15 boats right here. If you guys are coming to watch launch, let's have you all park down this road right, or this road down here on the bottom here, which would be the farthest away from when you came in. Park over here if you have a personal vehicle. That way we can do 45 boats this way with a few extra that are doubled up here in the middle. We'll have the weigh-in trailer either here or here, depending on where the level of ground is this year. Depends on how high the water is. The closest we can get to the water is important to us. So we'll figure out where we put our trailer, but it's usually on either side of this. We usually land right about here if we can. Once you've launched your boat, be in the water by about 6:15 at the latest. So if you're an early boat number, get there before 6 and launch. If you're a later boat number, you can get there 6 to 6:15 and launch. Once you guys pick up your anglers on this courtesy dock here, which will have a key to unlock the gate, and then pick up your anglers. And then after you got everybody on the boat, idle out here and stage. If your boat's 1 through 10, I want you guys staging here. 11 through 20 staging here, and anybody else staging out here. Try to find the boat number that is close to you. If you're boat number 5, try to find number 4. If you're boat number 12, try to find boat number 11. If you can't find 11, at least find 10. That way you can keep an eye on that boat as it's hollering through the line. You know roughly where you're at, just in case you can't hear me on the loudspeaker. So that's very important. Once everybody's gotten launched, we're going to do boat draw, or we're going to do boat launch. Go off your boat draw number. You're going to idle past the end of this dock, which has the little cleaning station on it. We'll toss you your boat float, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. You're going to come through here in order in a single file line. Have your live wells open and running, your net out just in case you don't catch the boat float, kids seated while the big motor's on in their actual recommended onboard seating area. And then you're going to idle out past the corner of this community slip here. Okay, when you idle past the end of this community slip, you're going to pull your kill switch. Do not pull it between point A and point B, the dock and the dock. Pull it out here after you've passed this point. That way, if for some reason you can't get your boat started, you're actually out here in open water, not causing a traffic jam between the two docks. Other than that, that's about it. At the end of the day, your boat float will be due at the end of, we're actually going to have somebody on the end of this dock. So when you come in, idle by the end of this dock to turn in your boat float. That way we don't have a traffic jam here. In years past, we've always had your boat float turned in here, which was not a smart idea. It should be out here. So we'll have somebody out here on the corner of this dock collecting your boat floats. If you guys have any questions, call me 913-562-4660. Again, give me a call, 913-562-4660. I'll pop that up on the screen real quick so you can write that down. There it is on the screen. Again, there is our website, kansasyouthbass.com. Make sure you guys have followed us on Facebook, KBNYF on Facebook, Kansas Bass Nation Youth Fishing. And then last but not least, want to thank all of our sponsors. Turn on the little banner here on the bottom. Oops. I don't know where it went. There it is. So those are all of our sponsors, kguardguttering.com, Wholesale Batteries, Mike Bean with Shelter Insurance Company, Baitworks, Boatworks, Academy Sports and Outdoors, Garmin, Ziner's Angler Supply down there in Wichita, Cast King Rods and Reels. Use promo code SPTBKC to save yourself 15%. DW Creative Marketing, Clutch Swim Bait Company, Temptation Tackle, Prairie Land Partners for your next tractor purchase and Sportsman's Training Center. For those that like to go hunting and practice shooting clays, make sure you guys hit up Sportsman Training Center. We'll see you guys this weekend at Melvern. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Boat draw is launched on the website.